Well, thanks very much, Premier. It's great to be here in the Ord. I'm told by the locals I'm the first Prime Minister to be here in 23 years. And I think it's high time we actually looked imaginatively and boldly about where we can take this development in the future for Australia's long-term agricultural planning. We've been talking recently about climate change. Climate change for the Australian government falls into three big areas. One, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Two, mitigating the effects of climate change. And three, of course, global negotiations to bring out a fair deal for the planet. Yesterday, of course, on that first question, we released our carbon pollution reduction scheme. I'll come back to that in a minute. Second, climate change mitigation. It goes to the very question about what you do to support sustainable agriculture into Australia's long-term future. We all know from climate change that we're having a big impact in terms of drought and farming conditions across southern Australia, the southeast and the southwest. So therefore, we've got to look boldly and imaginatively about where we turn for Australia's next food basket. The Ord can't solve all the nation's problems, but you know, it can start to make a positive contribution for the future. The other day, when I introduced the government's Building the Nation plan, I said that we'd be prepared to invest $195 million, dollar to dollar, with the WA state government. I'm here today to reaffirm that commitment. Secondly, what the Premier and I have just agreed to is that in the next 3 months, between now and the end of March, we'll conduct and conclude a joint feasibility study. As I said the other day, we've got to pass that hoop before the money flows from the Commonwealth. The other thing is that we've got to make sure that we tick off also the necessary other approvals. But the point of being here today, apart from being briefed, is to send a very loud and clear signal that the Commonwealth is open for business. The Australian government is open for business in partnership with the states, in partnership with WA, to how we develop long-term solutions for Australia's agricultural and farming needs off the back of climate change. One final thing I'll say is this on climate change more generally. The Australian government, given the global financial crisis, makes no apologies whatsoever for introducing responsible medium-term targets to bring down our greenhouse gas emissions, capable of being built on in the future more ambitiously. That's what we've done. We believe it's the responsible course of action given the global financial crisis, necessary for the economy, also a strong step forward in dealing with this environmental challenge. Minister, do you want to add?
Quickly. In the context of the global financial crisis, agriculture's been one of the drivers that's actually been helping with Australia's growth figures. And what today says is that the planning for the future and with the challenges of climate change, agriculture remains absolutely part of the nation-building agenda. People have been talking about the Ord Stage 2 for so long. Some people, when I was here not that many months ago, were wondering if we'd ever get there. Well, today you've got the cooperation between the WA government and the Australian government saying, let's start to move forward on this, and let's start to acknowledge that wherever we can open up extra options for farmers and extra potential food production, then we're taking those steps in the right direction.
Good. So just to conclude, climate change means we've got to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and plan for Australia's long-term agricultural needs. That's a sensible long-term strategy for the nation, and the Premier and I want to see the Ord as part and parcel of that long-term future.